The Vancouver Canucks continue to lose this week, but it was a very eventful week. In terms of goals, in terms of milestones, the Vancouver Canucks did have a at least fun week this week, although the losing definitely continues. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to This Week in CanucksLand. I am CanucksLand. We're going to go over the big games from this past week. We're going to go over all the goals, as there are plenty. My whiteboard right here is full of all the goals that happened this week, and we'll go through the fun stuff that happened this week. We'll go through the 3 stars, my thoughts on the week, news. Next week we'll preview it as well. And yeah, let's get right into it with the game against the Vegas Golden Knights. Evander Kane would open up the scoring for your Vancouver Canucks, as he would get the puck from DeRusk and put it in on the backhand to pick one up in his 1,000th game. Good for him for hitting his 1,000th game milestone. Later in the week, they would do this ceremony for him, which was really nice to see, and he picks up a goal. But the Vegas Golden Knights would get one back, though, into the second period, as Hannafin's shot from the point would be stopped. A hurdle would send it to Anderson, who was in front of the net, and he would put it in to make it 1-1. But the Canucks would get one back pretty soon after on the power play, as Pettersson would find Hronek at the point. His shot would be tipped by Besser and in, and it would be 2-1 Canucks. We would have the lead again, but then the Vegas Golden Knights would get one from Shea Theodore, as Barbashev would find Theodore, and what a shot by Theodore, would fire it in to make it 2-2, tie the game. And then they would add another one, as McNabb would find Riley Smith backdoor, and he would put it in to make it 3-2, and Vegas would pick up an empty netter thanks to Cole Smith, and they would pick up a 4-2 victory. The Canucks losing 4-2, but you know what? I didn't mind the first half of this game. Very, fun, eventful, and I feel like they pushed a lot, and I do think they did a good job in this game. And, Vegas is just a team that we probably assume is going to beat us on most nights. Maybe the Vancouver Canucks pick up a win. But yeah, most nights it's going to be the Vegas Golden Knights picking up a win, especially with how the Vancouver Canucks are now. Now, if you thought that was the way that game was going to go, you thought Vegas was going to pick up a win, the next game, you definitely thought the Vancouver Canucks would pick up a win, as Colorado would be the team they're facing, and going into this game 2-0 in the season series against the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks wouldn't let them sweep, though, as they would start off the scoring, as Max Sasson would skate in and shoot on his patented 5-hole shot to make it 1-0 for your Vancouver Canucks. But then Nathan MacKinnon would put one in immediately after, and every Canucks fan collectively was like, oh, there it goes. Okay, we got one. But yeah, Nathan MacKinnon shortly after ties the game. That's how we expect it to go. But then Liam Ogren finds Teddy Bluger, and he puts it in the net. The Vancouver Canucks have a 2-1 lead. Oh my, what's happening? And then Elias Pettersson gets the puck. He finds DeBrus backdoor. It's 3-1. 3-1 for the Canucks. Gabriel Landeskog picks one up off a tip shot from Brent Burns. It's 3-2. We still have the lead. Teddy Bluger would add another one, as Bluger would be found on a break, and he would put it 5-hole to make it 4-2. Rossi would give it to Vilander. He would streak in. He would find a wide open Besser. He would put it in the empty net, basically empty net, to make it 5-2. And they would add yet another one, as Brock Besser, I don't know why I took the hat off, Brock Besser would skate in and fire it in. A blast from the past kind of shot for Brock Besser to make it 6-2. The Vancouver Canucks have a 4-goal lead on the Colorado Avalanche in the year of 2025-2026. Never thought that would happen. But they would get one back, as Malinsky fired one from the point, and the Avs would make it 6-3. Okay, they get one before the second period ends, so that's fine. You know what? They can get one. Third period, it's got to shut them down, and then Parker Kelly would snipe one in. To make it 6-4, and then Brent Burns from the point, one-timer, goes in, makes it 6-5, and then the puck finds Malinsky again, and he fires it in to make it 6-6. Makar goes down, Malinsky shows up, and the game is tied in the third period with 7 minutes to go, and we're like, no way we're going to blow this. Totally expect the Vancouver Canucks to blow a 4-goal lead, 6-2 lead against the Colorado Avalanche this season. But that wouldn't happen, as Brock Besser would get the puck behind the net, send it in front to Marcus Pettersson, and he would fire it in, and we would be up 7-6, and then Besser would get the hat trick, picking up a empty netter, and the Vancouver Canucks would beat the Colorado Avalanche 8-6, and yeah, probably the longest game that I have to describe in this video. What a fun game. It was just nice to see pick up a really fun win. The Avalanche stayed in it till the end, but the Vancouver Canucks were able to hold on. Insane. A big morale boost kind of win. You love to see it. No real other notes for this game. It was just really fun. And yeah, we're getting to the end of the season where it's just kind of be like, yeah, this is like how bad we are kind of game. And oh my god, we can have fun kind of game. The next game though, which I did unfortunately miss, I think due to a nap. Against the Minnesota Wild the day after on a back-to-back. Yeah, this game was one of those games where I really wish we would have like a fun game and pick up a win, but yeah, because the big storyline is it is the first game against their former team for Zeev Boyum, Marco Rossi, and Liam Ogren, and the 2026 Minnesota Wild first-round pick, as they face off against the Minnesota Wild, who have no players on that team, who definitely are playing against their former team of a while. They played a good amount of time there. It was Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes' first game against the Canucks. You guys all knew that. I don't know why I went like that, but yeah, this game, I wanted it to be a nice, fun game where we pick up a win. You know, hey, Quinn, you're not making the playoffs this fast. No, yeah, it didn't go like that. As the Wild would open the scoring, as the puck would find Boldy, and he would put it 5-hole to make it 1-0. But the Canucks would get one back, as Sasson would give it to Bluger. His shot would miss the net, bounce out, right to a wide open Verlander, and he would put it in to tie the game. And then the Canucks would get another one as Pettersson would give it to Hronek on the power play. His shot would be tipped and then batted in by Jake DeBrusk. A 2-1 lead. That is what you like to see. And yeah, and then Matthew Boldy would get a breakaway and feather it over the glove of Tolopilo to tie the game. Which, that wasn't fun. I liked having the lead. I'm going to be 100% honest. I liked having the lead. Even though I wasn't watching the game, if, I was looking at my phone and wasn't napping. I would like to have, actually, I think I woke up and watched from the Boldy goal on. So I liked having the lead. But then the Wild would get another one as Kaprizov would find Zuccarello. He would come back to Kaprizov and he would one-timer it in to the net to make it 3-2. And then Zuccarello would get a shot from the point that would be tipped by Ryan Hartman and in to make it 4-2. And then Ryan Hartman would pick up another one with an empty netter, sending it all the way down the ice into the empty net. And the Minnesota Wild would win 5-2 in a game that we expected the Vancouver Canucks to lose. And it's exactly what happened. It was nice to see Tolopilo getting in. I know it wasn't the big stretch that it was where Lankinen played 5 in a row. Then Tolopilo got in against Calgary, but 2 games of Lankinen, and then we got a game of Tolopilo there. So it was nice to see him draw in, but yet again, it's a third-string goalie with the 32nd best team. You know how it's going to go. Not too great, but we're going to move into the last game of the week here as we faced off against the Utah Mammoth, where I was at the Abbotsford, not the Abbotsford Center. I still want to call it the Abbotsford Center, the Rogers Center. I got to watch the first period there, so I saw a couple of goals, which was nice. It was a nice season ticket member event before the last game of the season, where I was able to pick up this nice ring that they gave all the season ticket members. It's really cool. A little close up for you guys. Arena workers also got it. It's pretty cool. Abbotsford Canucks. Oh, there we go. Calder Cup champions. It is a very cool gift. Thank you for the Abbotsford Canucks for giving that to all the season ticket members. And thank you for the Abbotsford Canucks. Put on a great year. I had a fun year with them. They played their final home game on the same day against as the Canucks played against the Mammoth. So I wasn't able to catch this game, but I did watch the highlights. I watched the highlights every game because I got to do the game review. So I always check out the highlights, which is nice. Which is really nice about doing this, is I am still involved even if I have to miss a game. The Vancouver Canucks, though, would continue a trend. What did we do every game this week? We opened we didn't open the score. The Wild got one. I looked down on my 08. The Boldy scored the first goal. You know what? 3 out of 4. I really like. We opened the scoring as Linus Karlsson would pick it up as he would fire a backhand in to make it 1-0 for your Vancouver Canucks. But then Utah would start their electric offense. As Logan Cooley would get the puck on the end boards, he would throw it in front and be tipped by Yamamoto and in to make it 1-1, even the score, and then Clayton Keller would add another one as he would fire it past Tolopilo to make it 2-1. And then we would add another one as a shot from the point by Macy. You'd be tipped by Linus Karlsson and in, and we would tie the game, which was nice. We're still at it. You know what? We're just into the second period. A 2-2 game. It's going to be a little high scoring as Clayton Keller would get one on the power plays. He would tip Dylan Gunther's shot in. The refs would review it, but they would eventually call it a good goal as it was below the crossbar, and they would take a 3-2 lead. Not only to add another one as Dylan Gunther would get a pass from John Marino and he would fire it in and it would be 4-2. Dylan Gunther, of course, used with the pick used. Dylan Gunther used with the pick. The Vancouver Canucks traded for OEL Connor Garland. There we go. Got it done. The Canucks would get one back though as DeBrusk would tip a heroic shot on the power play and yet again another power play goal for Jake DeBrusk. But then the Mammoth would add another one as Lawson Krause would get one in kind of the slot and he would fire it in. And then Marco Rossi from the point would fire one all the way from the point and in on the power play, and the Canucks would make it 5-4. They're keeping it close. But then, Liam O'Brien would make a backhand move and put it in, and the Mammoth would take a 6-4 lead, and they would add one more as Clayton Keller would pick up the empty net for his hat trick. The Mammoth would win 7-4 against the Vancouver Canucks. In a game where, honestly, all these games I expected the Vancouver Canucks to lose. It was nice we picked up a win against the Colorado Avalanche. It was a really fun game. And you know what? We scored how many goals? We at least scored 2 goals a game. We didn't get shut out. Yeah, sure, I'd say the Minnesota game and the Utah game, we kind of got dominated, right? 3-goal deficits. Only a 2-goal deficit against Vegas and a win against Avalanche. It was a fine week. I don't really, for a 32nd place team who's, if you look at the standings, this is a really bad team compared to all the other teams. This is about as good as the week I thought it would go. As I'm losing my, I don't know how to speak. As I'm trying to describe the fact that I'm forgetting how to speak. It's one of those weeks. That's all I gotta say. As we move into the news of the week, and that was that Ty Mueller got called up and played a couple games. Yuri Patera got called up as well. That's really about it for the news. I'm just gonna do a quick check to make sure I didn't forget any news here. No, I didn't forget any news. That's about it. And then we'll move into the 3 stars of the week. At your 3rd star, it is Teddy Bluger in 4 games played. He had 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points, and was a 0 on the plus-minus. A good week for Teddy Bluger. Most of those points coming from the Avalanche game. He picked one up in the Wild game as well. Teddy Bluger had a good week. Point per game and even plus-minus is exactly what you want to see as we get up there. Even though these guys got more points than Teddy Bluger, you're going to see their minus stats here. As we move into the 2nd star of the week, Filip Hronek in 4 games played, 0 goals, 5 assists for 5 points, and he was a -7. Even with 5 assists, Filip Hronek still ended up being a -7 on the week, which shows how good we had that game against Colorado, and we weren't picking up points, but also we're letting in so many that even the guys who got 5 points dragged down to -7 because of how many goals they're on against. Filip Hronek picking up more assists as he goes, keeps getting those points, keeps showing that he is still the Filip Hronek who, has that really good value. We'll see how it goes eventually with him in the future, but if he can have another good season on a bad team, hopefully a team will look at him in a possible Merca first kind of package, around that price tag. But Hronek, keep it up as we move into our 1st star of the week, and that is Brock Besser in 4 games played, 4 goals, 2 assists for 6 points, but he was also a -6. So he scored 4 goals and assisted 2 goals. for 6 points, meaning he was at least on for 6, but he was on the ice for 12 goals against. Well, 5-on-5, actually. I think plus minus says 5-on-5, so maybe some of his goals doesn't count. And same with Filip Hronek, who I think had a lot of power play assists. So, you know what? My logic could very much be flawed. But Besser had a great week. He had a great game against Colorado, picking up the hat trick, and he also picks up a goal in the game against Vegas. And he also picks up 2 assists. Like, just a very solid week. This is what we want to see from Besser. Putting up a lot of goals, putting up a lot of points. Ever since he kind of got chemistry with Rossi and Ogren, you know, his points have been picking up, and it's exactly the type of thing we want to see, especially with Brock Besser. But that is it for your 3 stars of the week. We're moving into the next week preview here as we're almost done with this episode of This Week in CanucksLand, as there are 3 games next week, those games are Tuesday against the Vegas Golden Knights at 7 p.m. at home, and then they go over to LA on Thursday, April 9th, to play them at 7:30. And then they continue the road trip, the California road trip, on Saturday, April 11th against the San Jose Sharks at 7 p.m. Those are your 3 games next week for This Week in CanucksLand. Without further ado, that is it for this one. If you're a Canucks fan and you enjoy this kind of content, hit that subscribe button and set a goal to try to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this regular season. We're at 334 right now. If we can magically hit it, that would be awesome. But thank you guys so much. No matter where we end up by the end of the season, the growth has been immaculate. It's been like so fun this whole season going through it. A lot of fun times. Thank you guys so much. We're at like 920 on TikTok. I could be wrong, could be higher. Yeah, about 922 on TikTok. We're almost at 1,000 on TikTok. I appreciate the support so much. Thank you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a like and comment down below what you guys thought about This Week in CanucksLand. But without further ado, the video on your right is the video from Wednesday. The video on your left is the video from Monday. Subscribe's right down under there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.